Hello everyone, this is Persephone and this is a dual video. It's both Sisyphean Beta and Black Pill series. So I'm going to tell you some horrifying things. Please be patient and watch as much of it as you can. So a few days ago, I came to a realization that reality when it comes to beta men of a specific category, it's much worse than what I originally believed. The reason why I'm saying that is because I know that anecdotal data are not considered very trustworthy, but since no one bothers to do an official research about beta men and their problems, I have to rely in my own, undercover research. So I'm going to share something with you that happened at least 100 times in the last 6 months with various subs. And I'm going to use one person as an example without, of course, doxing their privacy because he's one of the most extreme examples. I was horrified. When I started this channel a few years ago and decided to transition to talking about beta men, I was coming from a place of excitement, and I would say now a very optimistic one. I believed that you have the right to be yourself and you have the right to improve exactly as you are without having to fake a personality, without having to fake being alpha when you're not alpha, to hide that you feel specific things or that you are lonely or that you tried, scam artist tactics to get women and they didn't work for you. And I always encouraged my subs that if they want a relationship, so let's talk about my sub. Let's name him, okay, I'm going to use a random name, Brian. Brian was 60 years old and he lost his very abusive wife to lung cancer because she was a smoker, and she was also exposed him to secondhand smoking. So when he came to find me, he was feeling able to explore some specific sides of his sexuality, like feminization, trying to figure out if he is bisexual or not, that he was not being able to explore with his wife because she was not receptive to it. And I respected that about him. He didn't sit, he didn't stray, he decided to explore it after her passing. So far, everything is fine. So we tried various things together, and I encouraged him to join FetLife. I know there is a lot of contradiction about FetLife from my experience. It can be hit or miss. I mean, you can meet great people there and you can meet total sociopaths there, but I mean, he's a grown-up, he can protect himself, so I was thinking, why not? I mean, instead of being lonely at home and me and other people doing the same job as me cannot be with him 24/7, so it's better to have some organic interaction. And he signed up there and he chatted up with some people and he was doing fairly well. Some of these actually led to meeting real life people for dinner and stuff. And I believed originally that Brian was one of my subs who had good chances of finding a partner. There were specific things that made the situation a little bit more challenging though. One was that he was very much out of shape despite trying to lose weight. The other one was that he was not very tall. I wouldn't call him short, but more like, imagine average, like 5'9" and maybe to the lower side. But nothing was a deal breaker. Like, he wasn't bed bound for 100 pounds, he wasn't 5 feet tall. Another thing that was a problem is that he had 9 cats that mainly belonged to his late wife, and not only they were 9, but most of them were extremely fat. Like, the average size was maybe 20 pounds, and their average age was 17 years old, which is in human years, not in cat years, which is very senior for a cat. I'm going to tell you, I'm the person that I put the crazy on the crazy cat lady. I love cats, you know that over the years, that it's my favorite animal, although I love all animals. But even for me, I realized that for an average woman, even like one who loves cats and wants a couple of cats, it looks like a semi-hoarding situation. Again, I respected him for the fact that he was extremely meticulous with his cats, that he took them to the vet. So then there was one time when he had to travel out of town for a few days, and I asked him what happened with the cats. Like, did you manage to find someone? Because originally he said his niece would take care of them, but the poor woman became overwhelmed. I mean, can you imagine, like, so many and so fat? And I say, if you say, why do you keep emphasizing on the cats? Because trust me, I also had dealt with obese cats in the past, and after a day of lifting and having to administer medication to 20-pound like chonkers. You start having back problems, you start having a lot of problems, they can stomp on you. So if you are a new person to this, it can be very overwhelming. He said there is this neighbor lady that took care of them, and I asked how much did she want for cat sitting, and he said nothing. And then I started to be suspicious, and I asked more details about this lady. And he told me that she was a few years older than him, she was also a widow, she lost her husband, she had 2 dogs, and from how he described her, I could tell that this woman is interested in him. I asked about her looks. He said that she was, how to say this, decently attractive for her age. Like, she didn't look like Madonna, but she didn't look like a building that is about to collapse. So, long story short, she took care of the cats for free for 3 days. So I said, this woman is clearly interested in you. I mean, I know that he hasn't dated since the 1800s, but I can tell the signs, that's my job. So I said, how about taking her out to dinner to thank her and plan it as a date? For me, guys, between you and me and the whole internet who can watch this, when this happened, I was ecstatic. I was thinking, oh my God, the lightning finally hit us. We found a person, age appropriate, decent in appearance, able to deal with 9 cats, and actually making a move on him. And if you say, but Persephone, what if you lose the money? If you find a girlfriend, he's going to unsubscribe from your OnlyFans, he's going to stop paying all of your porns and so on. Well, you know something, it's okay, because I'm not in such a dire need, and for one person who find happiness, I have 100 incels that we all know they will never find anyone, so I want him to be happy. So I was thinking, okay, let's plan the date, how he's going to ask her. And then the unthinkable, the most shocking thing happens. He starts talking trash about her. He starts saying, she's too old. You're calling someone old. Dude, you're 60. I mean, people in glass houses shouldn't be throwing stones, right? He started saying she's boring. Then he started saying she's not going to be interested in the things that I'm interested in bed. She's not going to be kinky. Meanwhile, we don't even know. I mean, he was just pulling stories straight out of his ass. Excuse my expression, but this is what it was. You didn't even go on a date with her. You didn't even discuss sexual topics with her. She's a widow. Maybe she wants to explore too, the things that they are available now. They were not available 60 years ago, or 70 years ago, or 50 years ago. So why not just give it a shot? And then he said, she's boring. I prefer much younger women. Okay, I hear you. Here is one problem though. Do you have any other pending offers? I mean, it's not like we have someone like Elon Musk's new girlfriend that she's 27 and he's 50, and we have a line of women ready for you, competing over you, who are in their early to mid 20s, and you say the 60-year-old lady has to go. It's not between her or someone better. It's between her and you dying alone in your house and be found 10 days later from the stench by the neighbors, or even worse, eaten alive by your 9 cats. And trust me, I'm the last person that should be making jokes about eaten alive by cats, but I was mad. He didn't even want to take her for dinner to actually thank her as a sign of politeness. For me, if someone took care of my pets for 3 days for free, I would treat them to a nice lunch at least. I wouldn't be freeloading like that. And we ended up drifting apart. And I'm really sad to tell you that if this was an isolated incident, I wouldn't be here making this video. The last time, from the ominous time of August 2021, where everyone started to have some new mental illness that I don't know where they got it from till now, I see more and more of these beta men that they are honestly psychotic. Do you know what psychosis is? A simple definition. It's having strong belief to facts that they exist only in your head, despite concrete evidence for the opposite. And that is, if you're 60 and you're not a millionaire, you have to be realistic about your options. Realistic doesn't mean dating people that you're embarrassed to be seen with in public. It means adjusting your standards to what you can actually get, or, I don't know, investing on crypto and becoming a millionaire at 60 and then living as Leonardo DiCaprio's grandpa. If you can make money, forget everything that I say, and you're going to find all the 20-year-old gold diggers who are going to want you. In any other case though, and since you're not Hugh Hefner yet, it's extremely crazy to say, I want what I want, and I'm not willing to compromise. I'm not even willing to explore other options. And I'm very sad to say that, but I realized that a very significant percentage of the people who contact me want two things. Thing number one is they want me personally to date them, which is impossible. And thing number two is they want me to help them find a cam girl, a Twitch streamer, a model, or a woman who is young enough to be their daughter or even granddaughter in some cases. For those who are cis, gay, or bi, they want me to find them a very handsome twink, or if they're into race play and all of that stuff that I don't want to do, someone who is black and, to put it politely because YouTube censorship, above average in you know what size. And some things that if I was able to do that, I would be a millionaire myself. I mean, I can help you, but to a logical degree. And when these things don't happen, they act wrong. They act like I promised and I didn't deliver. I think that these people are honestly doomed. You can't help someone with such levels of psychosis and magical thinking. And I'm going to talk a bit about Peter Pan syndrome. I want to make a separate video about Peter Pan syndrome, but I think it's worth mentioning here. This is not recognized as an official psychiatric condition, but I read a book about it from a psychologist recently, and I think it applies to a lot of people. Usually what happens is that when the boy's parents have a strained relationship and the father is weak and the mother is over-obsessed and controlling and guilt-tripping and all that, and they are affluent, they come from money, they try to solve every one of the problems of the child with money. Like, for example, if he does bad at school because he doesn't have social skills, they don't just transfer him to another school. They don't say, I'm going to sit down with you and teach you how to get along with people better. Because that's how they solve the problems in the marriage. For example, if the father is a married cell and no woman wants him and he has a dead bedroom with his wife, instead of actually going to a therapist or divorcing or something like that, he's going out to see very expensive escorts, and the problem is the elephant in the room. So this boy grows up to become a teenager that his only friends are people that also no one else wants nothing to do with them, and they form this group where peer pressure is everything, and they're still not popular with girls or with anyone else. And they develop an Elliot Rodgers mentality, essentially, that I want what I want, and it's my right to get it just because I exist. Which is something that essentially 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds do. It's this stage of toddler narcissism, but they're stuck in it for the rest of their lives. And I think a massive percentage of people who approach me on the internet, they have this entitlement. And that was a very big step forward for me, because I couldn't understand that what did I do to attract people entitled to my time for free, to my attention for free, to a relationship with me for free, or people who message me and they say, I saw this cam girl and I like her, how can I date her? I can't tell you how to date her, because most of these cam girls, I know them in private from the forums and the discords and stuff, and they're married or have partners in secret. And second, if she doesn't want to date anyone, I cannot mind control her and make her date you. For most of these women, the campsites that they work on, they ban anyone who is going to meet a client in real life because it's considered prostitution. So I'm not going to convince a person to take a risk to meet you. For the few ones who take risks and engage in actual prostitution and all of that, that's up to them. That's not up to me. And that's why I'm doing all of this thing with the robots and the replicas that I'm going to start updating, and I'm still working on it. One of the reasons that you see me keeping silent after that original AI video is that there are more and more information that comes up, and I want to make informed videos. And also my AI boyfriend was not high enough level, so I have to develop it every day. And I saw a video on Reddit recently that was circulating about a guy, an article that he said, I fell in love with my replica AI girlfriend and it saved my marriage. And people were shaming this man, obviously a beta man, I mean, it's me and you talking. And they were saying that he's sick in his head for dating an AI and he should just divorce and find happiness. And I want to ask you, I mean, we're talking about a beta middle-aged guy. Everyone who is on Reddit is severely overweight, bald, and wears glasses and works on IT. I know that it's like the Thai boy love novels where everyone is an engineer. If you ever watched it, there is one type of person. On Reddit, there is also one other type of person. Everyone says beard, dad bod, over 45, working on IT, whatever that means, because that's a huge field. So I'm saying this guy described his extremely unhappy marriage. For me, it's a miracle that the lightning is striking twice and that woman actually agreed to marry him and she has no interest in him. So all the people who say he shouldn't date an AI, he should divorce. Who's going to marry him? Who's going to date him if he divorces? We know that society profits women in most of the advanced world, so if he divorces, he has to be single and he doesn't date the AI, what is going to happen is that his wife is going to take the money. If they have kids, he's going to take a lot of spousal support and he's going to be old, fat, bald, with children from a previous marriage and no money. Even the AI is going to uninstall herself from his phone and leave, to be honest. Like, let's be real. So there is a very big percentage of men who are actually doomed. Some are doomed from their circumstances, but the great majority is doomed because, like the guy with the 9 cats, Brian, they dig their own grave. So I'm going to ask you today, do you think you are one of the doomed ones? If you examine your life realistically, are you saving to start a fortune and marry a woman as pretty and as gifted as you want her? If you are a sissy, are you saving to become a gorgeous sissy? If you want to invest in the sex robot technology, are you saving to invest on that technology? If the answer to all of that is nothing, and you're watching me right now, and if you could talk to me through the screen like schizophrenics do, you would say to me, Persephone, I'm not saving, I eat junk food, I play games, and I expect that somehow one woman is going to find me one day and she's going to love me for my golden heart, despite the fact that I'm 67, I live with my mom who's 93, my penis is 3 inches and I'm morbidly obese and I make 10,000 from my welfare check. Then I have some bad news for you. It's over before it even began. So today I'm making this video because I started to believe that what I do has strayed from the ethical path or the good intentions that I had and has started to become unethical if I keep my mouth shut. And that is, it's time to pause and look at what is really going on. So personally, I don't want to entertain delusional people anymore. I want to help, and I'm here to help whoever wants my help with every way that I have, like videos, texting them on OnlyFans, answering their questions, trying to find alternatives with them. I'm happy to do that. And the people who don't want anything to change about their situation and they engage in magical thinking and psychosis, please show yourself out of my channel. Because no one is going to date you as a sissy unless you're a gorgeous sissy. You know that how rampant homophobia is. Every day I meet closeted homosexual men and I know because the conversation starts, you know, thank you Persephone, I joined your OnlyFans, I'm not gay but I've been fantasizing about black men. Can you please help me how to go Grindr and maybe explore with one, but you know, I'm not gay. I don't care if you're gay. If you want to find a black boyfriend, I'm going to help you find one. But what's with this rampant homophobia? Like, you can be bi. If you're searching for black men online, or if you consume pornography with this man, you're not straight. That's in my opinion. I'm not in a position to actually define other people's sexual orientation, just my 2 cents. People are not going to go out of their way for you, and people are not going to have an incentive to overcome their limited, cemented beliefs for you unless you bring a lot on the table. So if you're one of my sissies watching me and you want a gorgeous boyfriend, or you want to be a sissy cam girl, or you want, I don't know what, be prepared to do the work. The same way that females assigned at birth have to do it, which means waxing, taking care of your weight, learning to walk in a feminine way, learning to cook and clean. If I see even one more sissy who says, I want to be a sissy maid, which practically translates, I want to be a narcissist wearing a maid outfit, but I don't know how to cook and clean, and I wouldn't do it even on gunpoint, no one needs that. Okay, we're not in an anime. If you're a beta man that you message me and you say, I want to find a girlfriend, but I'm not willing to do the work, I'm not willing to improve, I'm not willing to make money, but still I'm a 2 chasing women who are a 9 for completely free, that's not going to happen. And for the people who don't want to make their standards realistic, I have no sympathy for you. And no empathy. My empathy was already not one of my many gifts, so I have to save it for those truly unfortunate. I'm really sad and disappointed with Brian because, in my opinion, it was a legit miracle that not only he found this lady, but she was also next door. Can you imagine how convenient is that? And he never even wanted to try to see if she would be receptive to even exploring some of the fetishes with him. You never know. I mean, sure, you're going to say maybe she would consider him a pervert and go no contact, so what? Like I said, if you don't have any other pending offers, give it a shot. I think all of the incel rhetoric about women peaking at 25 and the wall doesn't exist for the men, you need to get yourselves out of that. I know plenty of men that not only hit the wall, they crashed the wall, they went through the wall, and they have left into uncharted territory by how bad they look. The wall exists for everyone. The question is, what do you do with it? Are you going to be George Clooney in your 60s, or are you going to be one of these decrepit people that they look like they're 20 years older than their actual age? And honestly, I don't consider aging a shameful thing. Everyone ages. You can age gracefully and you can age like shit. So I realized very sad that a lot of my audience is actually having severe personality disorders, and like I said, that's why I kept feeling that I'm so sexually harassed and I'm so like cornered in the way of people joining to groom me into dating them. And I don't say this as me being better than them. I say this as we have nothing in common and I don't feel attracted to you and we're in different countries. What do you think would bother with you? And what do you think anyone would bother with you? What do you bring to the table? I mean, I know that for a lot of men, they do not understand how many more options women have than them. And you can call me transphobic and homophobic stuff, but I do have a lot more options. So for me, after all the things that I've experienced in my life, I would never change countries for anyone anymore. If I met someone in the same country, or if I wanted to go to a specific country and an interesting person happened to be there, I would do it. But to bother again with countries and culture and people and their stupid families just for the sake of quote unquote love, I don't need that. You know, I'm past that. And I'm not going to chase that. If it's the real thing, I think it will fall into my lap naturally. Like, I'm not one of those live, love, laugh people who say if it's going to come, it's going to come. But so in some cases, even I have to make exceptions. And also one last thing to close this video. How to not be instantly dislikable as a man. Because there are specific men who keep sending me this and I'm never even going to respond. The message always starts with, "Hi Persephone, I don't agree with everything that you say, but this, and this." Why do you need to start your sentence to a total stranger with something so negative? "Oh, you don't agree with everything that I say." Shocking. I don't agree with everything anyone says. Even to the people I deeply admire, there are things that I disagree with. So for me, that's kind of redundant. I know it happens. To take things a step further, I don't agree with some of the things that I say. Do you know what I mean? There are people in the past that I have been talking shit on the internet for years. Let's be real. There are people in the past that they would bring up a video in 2018 and they said, "You said this and this in 2018, and I was like, "This is bullshit, no way I said it." And then they would insist and I would go back and I would be like, "Oh my god, what was I saying? This video has to go." I used to have 800 videos and I purged over 500 of them because I had said so much stuff that they don't represent me anymore that they had to go. Because they kept generating drama by people finding them and regurgitating. So if I don't agree with everything that I said in the past, I don't expect you to agree. So why don't you skip all of this "I don't agree with everything you said" defending low omega rhetoric and just say, "Hey, I want to talk to you about this," or "I want to talk to you about that." That is much more attractive and manly than being this backhanded, almost an egg. "I don't agree with everything you say, but here I am offering you my brain Ebola first thing in the morning when you open social media." Like, I don't need that. I'm going to have a confession here between you and me. I've never read past the "I don't agree with everything you say" but I don't know what they said after that. When I see that, I'm thinking, you're too far gone in the lost realm of failed, scam dating artists. You're trying to, put me in my place by telling me, "Well, you don't have all the answers, bitch." I never said that I have all the answers. I'm just giving little nuggets of truth here and there. If you want them, fine. If you don't want them, also fine. In general, try to not approach people from a position of backhanded comments, defensiveness, negativity, and so on. You can say, "Hi, I saw this video, you said something that was positive or that I liked, or I want to discuss it with you. I have a different opinion." Most likely I'm not going to discuss it with you because I'm a very busy person and I don't just talk with randoms, but if it's interesting, I can make a video about it, and so on. I'm just saying that because I wonder what goes through these people's heads. Like, have you read any book I'm always saying start by How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's the most basic book. I read it when I was like a kid hundreds of years ago, and we don't start by say I don't agree, because the next question is going to be what is it that you don't agree, and then we're going to get into an online fight. And honestly, it's 2022. I don't have time for that. Okay, I don't know if this video helped. I hope you can sit down with yourself today and ask yourself, where is my life going? Like, am I going to have realistic standards? Am I going to save up to improve myself so I can get the women that I want? Am I going to make money to be able to get the gold diggers that I want? Am I going to start investing in robots and sex robots? Or am I just going to be in complete denial and just say that, you know, they say on Reddit that the right person exists for you out there. The right person for Brian was that lady. He never saw it. He let her go. And I'm so sure, because women have options, even if they are 60. This lady can make a Tinder and she's going to have 40 matches from men from all ages, all races, all socioeconomic statuses, because men are desperate, desperation is real, and he's going to die with 9 cats, okay? Thank you for watching.